Welcome to the I Didn't Know What the Fuck I Was Doing podcast.
We're your hosts, Teresa
and David.
This is the podcast with two ADHD entrepreneurs who jumped into uncertain territory
and made lots of unpleasant mistakes along the way.
We were able to figure out what we're actually passionate about.
And we are here to help you do the same.
Each week, we will release 2 episodes discussing how we navigate our businesses, relationships, and health,
as well as interview excellent guests who share their own personal IDK WTF stories.
Listen today so you can hear some relatable content
as we normalize uncertainty in business and in life.
Because it's important to admit that no one really knows
what the fuck they're doing. Welcome to the I Didn't Know What the Fuck I Was Doing podcast. I am David B.
And I'm Teresa Merrick.
And we are here. This is episode 1 of season 2 of our relaunch here. And here we are. Perfect.
I'm happy to be here.
Perfect.
Are you
happy to have you here? And some of our astute listeners / viewers might realize that you are not Anastasia.
I'm not Anastasia with plastic surgery.
Right.
Totally different human.
Totally different. Well, just so everyone knows, Anastasia's off. She's doing another project. So doing cool things. So I have a story of how I decided to invite you here.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Would you like to hear it?
It's story time. I'd love to hear it.
I was like, okay, it's about time to do season 2. So I need to go out and find another co-host. So I scoured my Rolodex, right? Because that's what I do. I scrolled through it.
It would be really awesome if you had a Rolodex right now that you could for those of you that, Rolodexes aren't a thing anymore, but it used to be where you keep everybody's business cards and you would roll it and it was alphabetical. It was cool.
It was super cool, super professional. And I have one still, some retro. So I scoured through my Rolodex and I was like, I need to find the most attractive and good-looking co-host to sit next to me.
Wow.
I was like, I've got to find the best-looking person. And so I found that person. I pulled out their card, and I called that person. And
they weren't available?
And I asked, and they definitely said no. They definitely said no. So I put that one back. And I was like, okay, I need to find the most articulate person I know in my Rolodex. And so I pulled out that one. I found that person. I reached out. And I was like, hey, you want to do this podcast thing with me? And then that person said no. Mm-hmm. So I put that one away.
Definitely not me.
And then so I was scrolling through the Rolodex and I was like, who else can I get? And I was like, oh, I'll get the most empathetic and the most compassionate person in my Rolodex. And so I went through, found that person and called that person. They also said no. So I put that one back. And then...
This is a crappy story. I don't like this story. I'm done with story time.
And then so I went through and I was like, okay. And then I called you up. I was like, Teresa, please come be on this podcast with me. And I don't remember if you know, but you said, David, I can't turn you down for a 4th time. I will definitely do this with you. And so that's why you're here.
You're a nerd. Good looking, articulate, empathetic.
Yeah. So we have a lot of good stories, a lot of good conversation coming up. We've recorded like 10 episodes already.
We really have. We've been busy.
Yeah.
But now we're recording the first one because we had to get good at it.
Yes.
Before we could share ourselves with you guys.
It's always important to practice and then launch something.
Practice makes progress.
So.
Not perfect.
Practice makes progress.
No such thing as perfect.
Actually, yeah.
I don't remember where I heard it. It's definitely not my phrase. And practice makes progress.
That's all that matters.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Because on our 219th episode, it'll be way better than this one.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to keep listening.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for asking me. No, really though, I was very honored that you thought of me and that you reached out and asked about this because
over and over. All right, so today we are going to cover, I think, the most important question that everyone is asking, especially because, 83% of our listeners are brand new.
Yeah.
And so they're like, who the fuck are these people? Why are they here? Mm-hmm. And So today I think we're going to be talking about kind of who we are, what we do.
Yeah.
A big thing is why it's important to have that conversation about the title of this podcast, the I don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay. And so just why we're discussing this.
Yeah. Why it's the title, why it's threaded into everything we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Teresa, who the fuck are you?
Well, who am I? I mean, you heard that I'm good looking and articulate and empathetic, but I'm a nerd. I love like crafty things. I love witchy things. So like tarot reading, astrology, and those kinds of fun things.
Okay.
I love to read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally a book nerd. I read personal growth and development. I read novels lately. You know, it changes what I'm into too. I'm not like that person who's like one genre. I'm kind of like that with everything though.
Are you
I like a bit of everything.
Are you Harry Potter or 50 Shades of Grey?
Yes.
Both of them?
Yeah. Why not?
Team Twilight?
You know what? I actually have never watched or read Twilight.
You're not missing anything. So.
Well, I had a friend tell me, a friend who's like really awesome. She's an editor. And she actually said she's like, the writing is horrible in Twilight, but she's like, the story's actually pretty good. Like when she read it years ago. Okay. And you know, Harry Potter, I used to be like, because anything that's like popular like that, we were teenagers when that was like coming out.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter was a really big thing. Like book 5 was around the time I graduated high school.
Okay.
Because I remember friends reading it and I was like,
yeah.
Why? Like, really? Magic and I mean, I love Harry Potter now. I love Harry Potter. But then it actually took Dan, my husband, reading them and going, they're actually pretty good. And I think, so we started reading them around the time book 6 released.
Okay.
So then we had to wait for 7 like everybody else.
Yeah. I actually didn't read them. I'm not gonna lie. Really? I was team Lord of the Rings. So I was Lord of the Rings books back then.
Tolkien just doesn't do it for me.
I was like, Harry Potter's for kids. But
I love the story, but I think attempting to read Tolkien, just like Dan loves Stephen King. Yeah. He's so wordy.
Who's this Dan character?
Well, I said he was my husband.
Did you?
So I'm a wife and a mom too. Actually, we'll have been married 15 years in September. Nice. So yeah, so I've been with him for a long time. I have 3 kiddos. My oldest is my only son, who is 13. His name is Xander. Marie is 11, and Kelsey is almost 9. So
okay, so nice little army that you got.
A nice little army I've got going on. We're in like kind of phasing into preteen and teen years, which is always fun.
Right.
I've lived in Colorado most of my life.
Most, okay.
Yeah, I don't have a native sticker.
Yeah.
Because those are overrated. If you're not from Colorado, guys, they have this annoying ass bumper sticker that's like the Colorado mountains and it says native.
Yeah. It's only annoying if you're not a native. So
it's just funny because I don't know anywhere else. I mean, maybe other places do. If they do, like somebody tell me.
I don't know.
I don't know that it's a thing in a lot of places.
Because here we love our Colorado flag. Like that's as identifiable as anything. I don't know if other
our
states...
license plate, our Colorado license plate is like...
And people will just buy it like a hoodie and not like a tourist buying. I went to Colorado. It's like, I'll rock my Colorado hoodie. Or
like our sea.
You go to like sip and paint, like wine and paint.
Oh,
make your own little Colorado flag on a piece of wood. Like that's the coolest thing ever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if like...
I like
if that's
Colorado
a
flag
unique,
though.
Like, does California, do they rock their flag? I don't even know what any other state flag looks like.
I know what California's state flag is because that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I moved here when I was 9, which was a really, really long time ago. It was before it was popular to move to Colorado. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's me in a nutshell. I'm very I'm very family oriented. I'm very close, obviously, to my immediate family, my husband and my kiddos. But like I have an army of brother and sister-in-laws who are awesome. I'm very close to my own siblings and my parents and my parents-in-law. Like I love family. I have tons of cousins. And so, yeah, family is very important to me.
Perfect. And so on your business life, your work life, what do you do for work? What do you do
for work? What do I do? Well, I'm a life coach.
The common like party question. So what do you do?
What do you do? Yeah. I'm an entrepreneur.
Ooh. Oh. So you're jobless. I'm just kidding.
I have a job.
I'm just joking.
I know it's a joke. I did network marketing for 10 years. That's my most recent kind of block of time. Before that, I was in corporate America. for like 7 years. So I started working when I was 19 I grew up out of my like retail. I was at Home Depot, and then I moved to corporate America.
So this is very important since you mentioned Home Depot, not to go off on another tangent. It's a very critical question.
Uh-oh.
Because there's this new thing, apparently we've shifted universes and there's a new Mandela effect. Did you work at Home Depot or did you work at the Home Depot?
Well, I know what a Mandela effect is, but like, I don't know when Home Depot became a thing, but I never called it the Home Depot. Okay. I worked at Home Depot. I mean, I would like to say, I mean, it was almost 20 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Fair. It's a long time.
But I mean, I never called it the Home Depot. It was Home Depot.
Do you remember like the sign outside of the building? Did it say Home Depot or the Home?
I don't know about the sign, but I had my orange apron that I wore every day. I'm pretty sure it just said Home Depot on it.
Home Depot.
I think so.
Pretty sure.
We never referred to it as the Home Depot. Like we'd say, welcome to Home Depot. We'd like, thank you for shopping at Home Depot. Like,
I'm kind of right there with you. I don't specifically remember.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've never seen it say the Home Depot, but apparently it is the Home Depot now. We digress. Okay. Yes. Anyway,
so network marketing for 10 years. I'm still affiliated with the company that I started with, Arbonne.
Okay.
Love their products, use their products, recommend their products still because I like them. But I didn't want to continue pursuing that as my only like means of income.
Okay.
And along the way through marketing and personal growth, I discovered coaching and I love it. Okay. And so I primarily work with women and moms and I love helping them figure out how to get the most out of their life.
Okay.
Whatever goals they have, if they want to start a business, if they are just trying to get their life together and they're like, I'm overwhelmed and stressed out. I want to help them work through that and get to the other side of that.
Do you have like a particular methodology or like a standard kind of thing that you use, or is it like just different per person, or like how do you do your life coaching?
Yeah, it's pretty much on a per person basis because everybody has different goals. And I don't necessarily need to have like a mom that wants to start her own business. But if she does, I absolutely can help her work through what's next with that and what's holding her back. So for me, it's really getting to know my client and what's holding you back from doing what's next best for your life. Awesome. Or from even figuring out what do I want to do with my life. Because some of us ask that question.
That's a hard place to be, especially when you're like, I just don't even know what I want to do.
Right.
I know I should do something, but I don't know what that is. Right. So it's helpful to have that kind of guidance and just have someone there to support you to even find it,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, as a life coach, I can absolutely help hold you accountable to goals you have and those kinds of things. But it's like, that's not, I want to like get under there and like look at, okay, what is causing the stress in your life? What is causing you, like, when you stop, because all of us do that. We all like get to a point and we're like, oh, and we freeze up or we don't do the thing that we are like wanting to do.
Yeah.
So it's like getting underneath what is the source of that and how do we notice that and make a choice to do something different than what we've always done.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that our lovely viewers should know?
They need to know all of the things about me, but that's why they should just keep listening to this podcast because I can't possibly say it all today. But you do get to learn about both David and I a lot.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
All the juicy details.
Right. And so they want to know now who the fuck is David.
Ooh. Why don't we take a short break?
Let's take a little break.
And then we'll come back with the answer to that riveting question.
Yes. We'll be right back. This is a podcast for anyone looking to improve their personal, professional, or family life.
We craft these episodes so you can learn from or relate to our experiences and opinions.
And we'd love to hear more about you. So if you're interested in connecting with us further,
as well as other like-minded individuals,
we recommend checking out our creatively named Facebook group, Colorado Entrepreneurs.
You don't have to be from Colorado or be an entrepreneur to join, but it doesn't hurt.
Just go to facebook.com/groups/Colorado Biz, that's BIZ, and send us a join request.
Or check the link in the description and show notes below.
Thanks for listening, and now back to the show. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
All right.
We're back.
And now the viewers heard a little bit about me. And so They want to know about you. Our listeners want to know who the F is David B.
Who am I? Who is David? So I say I'm just your friendly neighborhood David B. Which I said forever before like Spider-Man was a popular thing.
A friendly neighborhood.
Yeah. I was like, I'm just your friendly neighborhood David. No big deal. No.
You copied Spider-Man.
I did, but no one knew who Spider-Man was. No one knew who he was back then. So...
Yeah, so tell us about you. Who are you?
So I'm just your friendly neighborhood B. I am a Colorado native, born and raised here, right in the Denver metro area. And yeah, I've lived like all up and down I-25. I've tried to leave a few times and never gotten around to it.
You just stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I am here. I like to call myself a futurist. You know, I really like focusing on seeing what trends are happening and like what's changing in the world and like how it affects day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. The biggest ones that I really enjoy is virtual reality. I think I talked about it in another one, but I get paid to actually test virtual reality games. Not all the time, but sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's super fun. And I just think it's cool seeing how things are changing. Like with technology is rapidly growing with cryptocurrency and virtual reality, which is turning into augmented reality. Mm. I think Apple just purchased a car windshield manufacturing company, which means we're like that close to having our cell phone on see-through glass. So to be able to...
That sounds like a safe thing to do.
I mean, it's as safe as anything else.
I know.
You know?
I know.
So it's like...
You really are a futurist. You always know what's up and coming, what thumbnails we should use on social media, like all of it.
I don't always act on it, which we'll talk about, but I like watching the trends and following that. Like we were just talking about Spider-Man, I'm big into the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I will argue that's the hill I will die on. Actually,
it's the hill you'll die on.
The hill I will die on is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the greatest thing to happen to modern art. And I call art because I think the cinema is an art form. Okay. And I think the MCU is the greatest thing to happen to it because they took an entire universe and turned it into an artistic medium, a medium for art. And I think that's the coolest thing that's ever happened. In a big scale, like on a grand scale. Like branded comics have always done that. But translating it into like multi-million-dollar productions, I think is astounding.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling.
I mean, I'm a fan, so.
Yeah. That's actually one thing that's gotten me back onto YouTube. Yeah. Is following people who talk about the different Marvel movies and shows. And so they'll do like episode breakdowns or movie breakdowns, and it's something I never thought I would enjoy watching as someone else.
And you totally do.
I fucking love it. It's so good. It really makes sense.
Where will we find David? On YouTube, watching videos about Marvel.
Watching Matt Pat, New Rock Stars, Eric Voss. He's where it's at. So maybe he'll let me interview him one day. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Chat with us. Let's talk, man. I'm not married. I do not have any kids. So I don't have a whole lot to talk about there, which I think is a really good dynamic between the two of us, which you'll see in future episodes as well. We kind of discuss the differences of being in relationships and how it affects us.
We're actually different people.
Not. Yeah. Very different, with very different experiences.
Totally.
So I think that's really cool.
Okay. Well, so tell us about your business. Your coming of age story. With your business.
So what do I do? So, essentially I was stuck in retail for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Right? So after high school, I got kind of a retail job. Just kind of stuck there. I went to college for pre-physical therapy and decided I did not want to get into physical therapy. So I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing this retail thing.
I didn't know you went to college for that.
Oh, yeah. So like sport and exercise science, and the goal was to go into physical therapy.
And then you just were like, nope.
Yeah, and the big thing is I saw people who could be healed forever. They would have this injury, whether a car accident, whatever the injury was, and their shoulders messed up, the rotator cuff.
Right.
And they could be healed forever if they would just do this for 15 minutes a day on their own. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, so this...
I used to work in insurance.
Yeah.
I know. Exactly. I know people's choices of not doing the things that could actually cause them to be better.
Yeah. And so that just blew my mind. And I realized I couldn't put my work future, my entire life into like this thing trying to heal people where they wouldn't go home and heal themselves. Right. And so it was nice with retail. I stayed in the nutrition side of it. So I was doing supplements, all kinds of different things. And that was nice because I could then still help people.
Yeah.
I could put nutrition plans together, workout plans. I could do all this different stuff, but then they would just buy the product from me and then
you didn't have to see if they followed through or not. And if they did, awesome, because you gave them a really great jumping off point.
Exactly.
Or for wherever they were, whatever their goals were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
and you're still really awesome with all that information. So just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot. But like my goal is to help people, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that it would just be really, really hard if I was there in the trenches with them, like trying to rebuild their physical body and then to watch them not
or regress or whatever. Yeah.
So,
no, absolutely. There's definitely like, it's one of those jobs where can be really rewarding, but also like really tough.
Absolutely. That's why I respect everyone in the like medical industry.
Oh, totally.
Awesome, but I just knew I couldn't do that. And so the retail side was nice because then I could just help the people I needed to help. They would come to me and I loved my customers. It was great. I loved the information, but I ended up just getting stuck in middle management there. And 8 years later, I was like, I hated it because I was working long hours. I was underappreciated as an employee.
Yeah.
Even though the core of the job was great, but
retail is rough.
It can be very rough. Absolutely. And it got to the point I was like, okay, I'm ready to do something else. And then I was like, wait, I have no transferable skills. And so that's when I was like, I need to figure something else out. So I started doing my little different entrepreneurial ventures.
You're an entrepreneur too?
Ooh, I am. And
it's so sexy to be an entrepreneur.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
It is.
We're
amazing. All us entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We're the best.
To the entrepreneurs.
And so while I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I ended up starting Colorado Mastermind. I was just looking to get like-minded people together to talk about entrepreneurial things. It ended up kind of really growing. It started as a meetup group where we just go to like a Denny's and I'd buy everyone pie and coffee. So we would just talk. And now we have like 2,000-3,000 people across Colorado. We have 2 or 3 meetings per month and it's turned into something really nice. And then from that, especially after COVID hit, I started doing entrepreneurial consulting, which is really helping people who are looking to get off the ground with their idea and start their own business.
You helped me.
I did help you. Exactly.
That's how we reconnected.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I helped them do it faster, cheaper, and I like to say with way more fun than they would do otherwise.
It was fun. I will totally vouch for you. I mean, I was so overwhelmed by the idea when I shifted from network marketing, where it's like all this infrastructure that's just built in that comes with it. Like I get a website by signing up. I have a website with my name on it. But then to shift over to create my own business, it was like, I don't know how to do a website or set anything up. And so you're like, showing me that
list.
Right. No, it was so helpful to have you there because that's all the stuff I didn't know what I was doing.
There's a lot of options out there and there's a lot of noise. So when anyone's like, oh, I want to start my own business.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 different things that are going to pop up online and be like, use this, buy this, buy that.
Totally. And how much money can you spend before you even have started your business and you even have a chance to make any money? Like, it's insane. And then you look at it and the startup costs can rain on your head. But I think like that's where I love how much you were like, okay, you don't need this. You do need this. Here's the free stuff you should use. Here's the stuff you should, and this is why. Like, and it was so logically laid out.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're very good at what you do, David.
Thank you. And it's, I mean, just years of working with other entrepreneurs doing it and just learning different tips and tricks. And so it's just
started out from having coffee at Denny's and talking about how to make businesses work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's me in a nutshell.
David in a nutshell. Well, so now the listeners know who we are, the gist of it.
They know me. We're besties now.
Yeah.
Me and you, listener, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Secret handshake.
Now we're going to have to actually make up a secret handshake. Oh, good grief. Okay.
I think we should. Yeah. You said it.
I know. As soon as it got said. See, Yes. That's okay. So I do want to share, though, before we end this, because this is part 1, guys. So just so you know, we're going to be releasing 2 parts every week for our episodes. So this is part 1. And at the end of this, I want to wrap up part 1 with both of us sharing why it's important. Like, why is IDK WTF? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing. Why is that important to you, David?
So I love that question because, again, that's like the core of all of this, right? And what I've seen and experienced myself over the years is that it's so not culturally acceptable to just say, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what's going on. And that feeling of not being able to admit, like, I don't know what I'm doing, I feel like is so damaging that it really holds a lot of people back from getting help that they need.
Totally.
And so something I always talk about is entrepreneurship is isolating. It's lonely because entrepreneurs, they see the world the way it could be instead of being happy with the way the world is. And so many people are just like, well, it's always been this way. Why would you want to change anything? And you're like, well, because it could be better.
We would not have we would not have a podcast. We would not have lights or laptops or anything if there weren't entrepreneurs in the world. We wouldn't have cars. We wouldn't have phones. I'm like, I don't have, our smartphones are being used right now. I'm like, where is my phone? Oh, it's recording.
They're recording us.
They're helping record us. But right, like entrepreneurs are what actually make our world. They really are.
So why do you think it's important to just really talk about that I don't know?
I spent my entire life being anxious and people pleasing, which I still do sometimes. Like I really try to notice. Well, it really is like it's breaking a habit of like needing to get approval of everybody. And when you need to constantly get approval of everyone and you're worried about what they think and you're worried about if you're doing it right, there's also this huge level of perfectionism.
Okay.
And so not knowing what you're doing and perfectionism do not mesh at all.
Right.
And so to me, it's like letting go of the perfectionism, letting go of the need to get it right the first time. Because frankly, when you get stuff right the first time, you don't learn anything, you don't grow, and you're not probably making progress. Not really. I just know that anyone can start where they're at and fail their way up to whatever level they want to be at. But that's literally what it takes. And failure, I think, is such a bad word in society. Like, you don't want to be a failure. Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Einstein was a failure.
And that's all progress takes failure.
Right.
And yet we're so conditioned to be scared of failing. Because we'll either get made fun of in school, like it's, built in childhood, we'll get made fun of, or our parents will be mad at us, or our friends will like laugh at us, right? And so, but that failure is what actually makes progress.
Totally.
What did you say earlier?
Progress or practice makes progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's something like I've tried to promote in my house and actually having my kids, and especially the phases they're going into, where I'm watching these like young people emerging and I'm like, you want to fit in with your friends. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to be like ostracized for messing up.
Right.
And it's like, but the truth is you're not going to be like in my house, the biggest amount of trouble you're going to be in is if you lie. If you mess up, you messed up. If you mess up and you weren't supposed to be doing whatever you were doing. Yeah. Like you're better off telling the truth because then we can work from there and learn from mistakes because mistakes are going to be made. Right. Failures are going to happen. Absolutely. And so I guess for me, that's really why this podcast, because the root of any growth is that you don't actually know what's going on.
And so season 1, it was, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I feel like I had to change that title again because there's such a stigma. Is that no one really wants to feel like they're admitting, I don't know what I'm doing. Correct. But so we changed it to, I didn't know what I was doing. Because it's always so much easier for people to say, oh, now that I know, or now that I've
hindsight's 2020
overcome the obstacles. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. I will freely admit I didn't know.
Back then.
No one wants to admit, I don't know right now. Yeah. No. And to me, that's like, it's so backwards, right?
It is.
Because we can't know what we're doing because we've never done it before.
Correct.
And the whole point of progress is doing things we've never done before.
Right.
And so it's like, it's mind-blowing to me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, no matter what that looks like. And I think it's important, and it's important to know that it's going to look messy.
Yeah.
It's going to look messy.
Yes. And that's okay. And so that's just the biggest key that I think this podcast can do, is really help just bring that conversation of, it's okay to not know. Not only is it okay for you to not know, there are a million other people who don't know what we're doing.
Right.
And we are a community that can come together and support each other through that not knowing.
Totally.
And I think that's the power of social media now. I think that's the power of like the technology we have to record an audio video podcast and reach tens of people. The 15 people who are listening to us.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Please share our podcast with your friends. Awesome. Well,
any other final words before?
No, I think we wrap up part 1 and then we'll see you in a couple days for part 2.
Yeah. And so part 2, we're going to cover a little bit deeper of how we got to where we are. So we kind of covered what we do, but I think we'll cover like how we got there.
Yeah.
And then I want to tell some juicy stuff about our biggest failures and our biggest fuck ups.
Yeah.
Because that's something you're not going to want to miss. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going to admit that we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Oh.
And then when you keep listening to this podcast, you'll find out how much we
all the
still
stuff
don't
we
know.
don't know every day, all the time.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. See you next time. Seriously, please come back. Please share our podcast. Like, we're very excited and we really want to bring value to you. So let us bring value to your life. And frankly, I'm open for suggestions. We didn't talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you guys have something you're like, we want you to talk about this subject, comment,
Message us.
Yeah. During the mid-roll, you heard about our Facebook group. Go on our Facebook group, share it there. If you want to talk, if you want to be a guest on our podcast, let us know. Like, we want to serve you guys and we want to give you what you want.
What you really, really want. You wanna zig a zig?
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for listening. This has been part 1 of our 2-part series on this topic.
The second episode will be out this coming Thursday, if it's not out already.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, please consider liking, subscribing, and or reviewing us on wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Also, if there's someone you know who clearly doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and would benefit from this topic, please hit that share button and send them this episode.
Let's normalize the feeling of uncertainty.
Asking for help and admitting that we don't know
what the fuck we're doing either.